Let's speak with Andy Preston on this story, political commentator and former mayor of Middlesbrough, of course. Andy, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Ian. Hi. Hello.
Nice to have you with us as ever. But what do you make of this? 2/3 of people unhappy. Look, I know that when you knock on a door or pick up a phone and say, are you happy with politicians? Then there is a sort of default answer that we've all got, which is, no, I can't stand them. They're all on the take. They're all rubbish. They're all dishonest. There is this slight in defence of politicians, bit of an urban myth, because there are some great politicians and diligent hard workers out there. But what do you make of this? The idea that 2/3 of people are completely dissatisfied with the government's position on immigration?
Ian, I think it's higher than 2/3. As you say, whether you are a complete righty or a monstrous lefty, no one is happy. And I just had lunch with a bunch of people. I was sat over my chicken and chips. We got talking about immigration. And what I found is real massive frustration. Nobody knows. Look, I'm going to use the word out of control. I don't necessarily mean the numbers. What I mean is the government doesn't have a plan. Yeah. It doesn't have a visible policy or a purpose when it comes to immigration. Everyone's confused about what's an asylum seeker, what's a refugee, what's an economic migrant. It's an absolute mess. And anybody who says it isn't a priority issue for a lot of people is definitely wrong. It's massive.
There's no doubt about that. And again, you just hit the nail there, Andy. It doesn't matter where you are politically. You can't just have tens of thousands of people turning up in boats. There's no policy there, right? That's not our policy. That's not an immigration policy. That's an out-of-control situation that's happening on our own doorstep.
Yeah, it's not working either way. It's not working for anyone. It's not working for people who want open borders. It's not working for people who want to lock the borders. And the irony is that the Tory government should be so strong in this. That should be their one thing that unites their supporters and brings a few new joiners in. And they're making an absolute pig's ear of it. And my 90 quid bet that Labour women win a majority that I made a year ago is looking better and better. And Suella Braverman and the rest of them, every time they open their mouth, there's more confusion, more of a sense this is genuinely out of control.
There is a sense, of course, I know this goes over old ground, Andy, but there's a sense that if Labour don't have the same, although they are doing better in the polling on immigration, can you believe Labour are doing more trusted on immigration than the Conservatives? That's how bad things have got. But there is a real sense that Keir Starmer won't do very much with this story.
Absolutely. He will keep quiet, which is exactly what he should do, because every time the government speak, they put their foot in it, they make a mess of it. People don't trust them at all. People wouldn't trust them to walk their dog, never mind run the country. So Keir Starmer's policy should be, for as long as possible, keep quiet and say nothing at all, which he's doing. Will Labour be any better? Who knows? It's hard to tell. People are death of the chaos.
Indeed. Something else I don't think Keir Starmer will shun away from. In fact, he'll probably endorse, and that is what is happening in Wales, of course, which is Labour-run. They've got this 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in urban and built-up areas. It's rolled out across the entire place. Many campaigners are saying, hang on a sec, look, we've rubbed along rather well without this for many years. We all get it outside schools and, in areas where it might be tricky. But the state has decreed that you can no longer drive at 30 miles an hour, otherwise we'll fine you lots of money. What do you make of this?
Well, I'm going to annoy people here. I believe in the 20 zones. The problem with them is you can be on one road that's 20, then it goes to 30, then back down to 20. Yeah. My mother, in her tiny little ancient car, was done for doing something like 24 in a 20 zone. And she did it because it wasn't clear. So the main problem, I think, is the movement between 30 and 20, breaking the law unintentionally. But look, we drive through streets, through villages all the time where it's really clear 30 is too fast. Yeah. People think that the maximum speed limit is what you aim for. And I believe in reducing speed limits generally, not on motorways. There's loads of evidence that it saves lives of kids, adults and everybody. But we need clarity. Now, politically, this is really tough, Ian. You don't annoy nurses as a politician. You do not allow annoy drinkers in pubs, and you don't annoy motorists. So bringing this in England, I think will take forever, and I wouldn't hold my breath.
Is your mum still in that pimped-up Mark III Ford Escort, Andy?
She is absolutely.
The Northeast is richer for her, I have to say. You mentioned pubs and drinkers. Slug and Lettuce and Yates owners to charge more at peak hours. The pub group that owns the Slug and Lettuce and the Yates bars have said it will charge 20p more per pint during peak hours due to cost increases. What an extraordinary story.
I get it. Look, I mean, when the airlines started charging varying prices, it gave us all the ability to fly to Barcelona for 50 quid, and it was very welcome. Similarly, if you're on a tight budget, as many people are, you can go to the cinema on a Monday afternoon, for 3 or 4 quid. It's fantastic. I think varying pricing according to demand and use is a good idea. Yeah. I think what this pub chain should have done, they should have said, look what we're doing. We're knocking 50p off a sandwich, 30p off a pint, if you come before 4. And everyone go, what a great idea. That's fantastic. Instead, they've announced higher prices. Look, I think it was...
Yeah, what was their marketing people thinking of there? They missed a right trick.
It's crackers. And my point that I made earlier is you don't annoy nurses, you don't annoy motorists, and don't annoy drinkers. So they've got a big PR mountain to climb now.
Indeed. Andy, thank you as ever. Andy Preston, political commentator, former mayor of Middlesbrough, with us here on talkTV.